Hi, Art One. I wanted to go over your assignment for Monday. So, where you should be at this point is you should have your rough draft completed. So, your rough draft should be drawn out full size, the same size that you are planning for the project. Hopefully, any modifications that you needed to make, you've made. Uh, and so, the next step is to plan out the color. So, before we plan out the color, I want to show you a couple of Liechtenstein pieces just to kind of remind you of like what we want to think about when we're applying color. So the first piece that we're looking at is Blam, which we've talked about quite a bit. And so what I want you to think about when you're planning out your own color is what colors will go where, and how you can use the placement of those colors to create eye movement throughout the piece. So if we looked at this Liechtenstein piece, we can see that he very strategically put red in certain areas to move our eye around the piece. And so even kind of these little tiny bits of red in this explosion coming off of this plane help to really keep our eye moving around to different areas of the piece. Now there's also a placement of blue that does that as well. And even the yellow helps to kind of keep our eye moving around the entire piece. And so that's what you want to start to think about is how you can use color to create eye movement. You also want to think about how color can lend itself to the object or what colors you want to use for your subject. So I'm going to have you look at one other Liechtenstein piece as well. And so this piece, which is actually a diptych, so it's two pieces next to each other. Again, you can see he chose to use this yellow background for this caption to help create eye movement around the piece. And this little bit of yellow and red that's coming out of this explosion over here at the end, again, helps to create this really nice flow of eye movement throughout the piece. So you are going to come up with some plans to help create that in your own piece. Okay, so for the planning, I will show you two different ways or show and explain two different ways that you can do that. Okay, so the first way that you can do what I called color drop thumbnails is to take the main things that are in your piece and sketch them out very quickly, smaller scale, like thumbnail sketches. And so you can see that this composition was sketched out 3 times. Okay, so it can just be quick, loose sketch, including all the main things that are going to be colored in your piece. And so you're going to color them in one way for your first thumbnail, another way for your second thumbnail, and then a third way for your third thumbnail. And so the goal is to quickly draw all the different parts of your image that might be a different color. You want to draw it 3 times, and then you're going to use the primary colors. Some of you have markers from school, some of you do not. And I apologize for that. I just didn't know that we were going to have so many snow days at the time, the last time that I saw my A through K group. So you can use any color medium that you have at home. If you have markers, great. If you don't, colored pencils or crayons are fine too. Watercolor are fine. Just only use yellow, red, and blue. And when you are applying the markers, if you're using markers, if you're using other art mediums, it's not as much of a big deal. But if you are using these 3 colored markers, always start with your yellow, okay? Because if you put blue down and then your yellow touches the area where the blue is, a lot of times that blue will come off of the paper and onto the tip of the marker, and then the marker just isn't the same anymore. It's not as a nice clear yellow. It ends up being kind of a little bit of a green or having a little bit of a dirtiness to it. So, and so this is going to give you the opportunity to test drive those colors and the placement of them. Now, if you would like to, and if you have a printer available to you, another thing that you could do if you didn't want to sketch your piece out 3 times, you could also photograph your rough draft, insert the digital photograph into a Google Doc, and then resize it so it took up a quarter of the page, and then copy and paste it twice to come up with 3 thumbnails. Now this has 4 on it because it's very easy to just fit a 4th one on there. But by doing that, you don't have to redraw it. You have your actual composition there, a smaller size that you can then test out the colors as long as you're able to print it. So that is another option as well. If you have a printer available, you could try that for Monday as well. Otherwise, just plan on sketching it out 3 times and then testing out your colors. And think about color placement and even like color application like Ben-Day dots and things like that to see what is best for your composition and for your idea for your piece. For the assignment, you're going to photograph your color drop thumbnails. You should have, again, at least 3. And then you're going to submit the photograph to the assignment for today. All right. I look forward to seeing you in person soon. I hope you have a great day. Bye.